SS2 students, you are welcome to our government class today. Remember, this program was brought to you by we that is in the house of Uzier Academy, HSA, an educational agency that love knowledge. Alright, but today we'll be looking at the topic electoral crisis. That is electoral crises in Nigeria. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to learn or discuss vividly executive versus legislative crisis of 1981 in Kaduna State. Explain general election of 1993 crisis. Explain the federal election crisis of 1964. State the causes of federal election crisis of 1964. So we'll do it gradually. Alright. We'll do it gradually for your better understanding. Okay. As we said, crisis and conflict are inevitable so long as human beings still exist. So this is what we'll be looking at. 1. Federal election 1964. 2. Western Nigeria election of 1965. 3. General election of 1979. So this picture you are seeing here is Two-Face when they are preaching. Look at their slogan: vote, not fight. You should vote, not to go there and fight. He says, say no to politicians who offer you money for violence. Yes, even that money that they are giving you is your money. They stole it. Anybody that gets money genuinely doesn't waste money. The reason why people or our politicians waste money is because they got it easily. That is by stealing it. So anybody that offer you money for you to go for violence, please reject it and curse that person. Curse that person. Is doing you bad, so bad. He or she will not send his children to go and cause violence in order to win election. No. If the person gives you money, tell the person, let him or her send the children, go and give his or her children the money so that they will go and cause violence. They will never do it, but they will give it to people who are illiterate. Thank God you are no longer an illiterate. Okay, let's continue. Electoral crisis in Nigeria. This is a short history. Electoral fraud and crisis has always been a milestone for Nigeria to cross. Since voting commenced in the country in 1923, there has never been one form of electoral crisis or the other due to alleged rigging and intimidation. So you have seen it. Because of rigging and intimidation, because of fraud, that is why we have electoral crisis always in Nigeria. Okay, look at the federal elections of 1964. Please pay big attention. Pay huge attention, because in your WAEC, you will be asked your questions will come from all these things. Alright, so federal elections of 1964. We have December 1959 elections. The Northern People's Congress, which is MPC, had 148 seats in the House of Representatives. The NCNC, which is dominant in the East, NCNC is dominant in the East, the MPC is dominant in the North, had 89, while the AG, which is Action Group, which is dominant in the West, had 1975. With this development, the Northern People's Congress controlled a majority in the House. Then in July 1964, the year another five, five-yearly election was due, with the northern seats more than those of the three southern regions combined. The southern-based parties discovered they had to capture seats in the north to be able to control a majority in government at the federal level. Then look at what happened. The political parties then marched to form gigantic mega alliances with the SCNC. What was left of AG and the Northern Progressive Front (NPF) are made up of the NEPU and the United Middle Belt Congress (UMBC) joined together. They now did a merging. That was what happened to APC. APC was made up out of other political parties. Their main reason for merging to become APC is for them to win PDP, and they succeeded. So that was exactly what happened, played in this election here. They joined together to form the United Progressive Grand Alliance, see them, OPGA, under the leadership of Dr. M.I. Okpara on June 3, 1964. On August 20, 1964, the MPC, NNDP, and the Middle Western Democratic Front (MDF), the Niger Delta Congress (NDC), and the Dynamic Party formed the Nigerian National Alliance (NNA) under the leadership of the Premier of Northern Region, Sir Ahmadu Bello. So they were forming and joining, merging parties together by themselves in order to form a great force to win the election. Okay, let's look at the causes of the crisis, 1964 crisis. The causes. One of the major causes of the crisis that accompanied the 1964 election was the very short time for preparation towards elections. So the time was very, very short. Number two, that is the time for preparation was very, very short. The number two is the Federal Electoral Commission could not prepare an authentic voters list. That's the next problem. They could not prepare it. So some people may be included and some people may be taken out and cause crisis. Number three, under this condition, the electioneering campaign commenced all sorts of crude and obnoxious methods were employed as campaign strategies. Problem emanating. Number four, the OPGA leaders considered that there were irregularities in the results and sent a protest letter to the president, threatening a boycott if the anomalies remain uncorrected. All right. Number five, the Federal Electoral Commission chairman, who is Ayo Esu, admitted that irregularities in a broadcast, promising to effect corrections. You see, thank God that he admitted. Number six, President Azikiwe requested that the Prime Minister postponed the elections, but the Prime Minister refused, which made the OPGA leaders ask their members to boycott the 30 December 1964 election. The number seven, when the election started on December 30, 1964, as scheduled, the OPGA boycotted it, while voting did not take place in the eastern region. Polling took place in the northern and western regions, in some parts of mid-western region, and only in one ward in Lagos. When the votes were counted, the NNA won a comfortable margin of seats. Number eight, Dr. Azikiwe. So because of, that number seven, because of that, conflict came up. Yes, there was a boycott. And remember, boycott is when somebody rejects or refuses to participate in anything, especially politically. So that is that. Number 8, Dr. Azikiwe on 4th of January 1965, in the interest of peace and national unity, invited Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa as re-elected Prime Minister to form a new government. Alright. Okay, look at the number 9. This was formed mainly with NNA members, a few NCNC, but no AG members. So look at how, see this picture, how the police and these people, army, are securing the ballot box there. Alright. Okay, let's look at the consequences of the 1964 federal election crisis. The consequences. Number 1, we notice that the outcome of the election brought constitutional crisis in the country. Number 2, the crisis led to loss of confidence in government. Yes. Number 3, Opuga refused to participate in the electoral process in Lagos, Eastern Region, and part of the Western Region. Number 4, the crisis worsened the mistrust between the various ethnic groups in the country. It's all these crises that cause various ethnic groups in Nigeria not to trust each other. Number 5, the NNA formed the government with a faction of the Opuga. And the next one, the crisis led to riot and arson in the Western Region. And the last one, the military were able to rule the country for 13 years. Yes, because of the crisis, the military looked at it and said, no, these people are bloody civilians. So let them get to power and correct what is happening. So in our next class, we are going to look at the Western Nigeria election crisis of 1965. Thank you very much for being part of this class. Please watch this video as often as possible. Thank you very much, and pursue knowledge.